My lesson, I had lesson 3.8, which is solving quadratic equations by graphing. What this lesson covers is solving quadratic equations by graphing, which includes graphing to solve from standard form and graphing to solve from vertex form. So we'll start with graphing from standard form. And the parent function for a quadratic equation is y equals x squared. And the standard form is y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. And the equation we are graphing is y equals x squared minus 6x plus 9. To find the axis of symmetry, you can find the axis of symmetry by using negative b over 2a and plug in the axis of symmetry to find the point of the vertex. So the equation was y equals x squared minus 6x plus 9. And so what you'll do is you'll have minus a negative 6 over 2 times 1, which simplifies to be 6 over 2, which simplifies to be 3. So the axis of symmetry is 3, and then so now you plug in 3 as the x value in the equation and solve for y. To find the vertex, you use 3 and you plug it into the equation. So you'll do y equals 3 squared minus 6 times 3 plus 9, and that gives you y equals 0. And then you'll graph the points, and so you can plug in the values 1, 3, and 5 for x after you find the vertex, and you are able to plot the points on a graph. So we got the points 1, 4, 3, 0, and 5, 4, and it gave us this graph. Then you can find the solution by looking at the graph, and a solution is where a point crosses the x-axis, and in this graph there would be one solution, which is 3, because the graph only touches the x-axis at one point, which is the vertex. Okay, so a practice problem with standard form. The equation to graph is y equals negative 2x squared plus 16x minus 35. So first you have to find the vertex, and you can find the axis of symmetry, then plug it in as the x value to find the y value, which will give you the vertex. The axis of symmetry is negative b over 2a as seen before, and the equation as seen before is negative 2x squared plus 16x minus 35. So you'll do negative 16 over 2 times a negative 2, which simplifies to be negative 16 over a negative 4, which simplifies to be a 4. So the axis of symmetry is 4, and you plug in 4 as the x value in the equation to solve for y, and you'll do y equals negative 2 times 4 squared plus 16 times 4 minus 35, which will give you y equals a negative 3. And then after looking at the equation and finding the vertex at 4, negative 3, to find another point you can plug in other x values, and so let's plug in 5 for x. So you'll do negative 2 times a 5 minus 4 squared minus 3, and that will equal 5. So another point on the parabola is 5, negative 5. So now step 2 is to graph and find the solutions. So you can plot the points, and the parabola has an axis of symmetry that passes through the vertex. And since the parabola is symmetric, you can reflect the point across the axis of symmetry, and then you can find another point that will also be a part of the parabola. So once you plot the points, this is the graph that you will get. And then to find the solutions, you look to see if there are any points that cross the x-axis, and since this graph does not have any points that cross the x-axis, it has no solutions. Okay, so now we will be graphing from vertex form, and the parent function of quadratic equations is y equals x squared, and the vertex form is y equals a parentheses 1 over b parentheses x minus h parentheses plus k. And in an equation, you will either have an a or a b. And the equation we will be solving is y equals -2 times x minus 2 squared plus 5. And as you see, -2 will be the a, and so there isn't a b in this equation. To find the vertex, in vertex form, you can find the vertex from the equation, and it will be h comma k, and that will be the point. So since the equation is y equals -2 times x minus 2 squared plus 5, h will equal 2 and k will equal 5. So the vertex will be 2, 5. To find points, you can plug in the numbers 1, 2, and 3 for x, and you will get y values for the output. So the points will be 1, 3, 2, 5, and 3, 3 once you plug them in. So now that you have the points, you graph the points, and when you plot these points, including the vertex, this will be the graph. To find the solutions, now you look at the graph, and there are two solutions for this graph, which are 1/2 and 3.5, since that is where the parabola crosses the x-axis. Okay, so for our last practice problem, it's for a vertex form, and we will be graphing y equals -3 times x plus 4 squared plus 1. So step 1, you have to find the vertex, and the equation is already in vertex form, so we can use the vertex as one of the points. And so you'll use hk again, and the vertex of the parabola is at -4, 1. And so we're going to find other points by plugging in the x values again. And now you graph and find the solutions. So to find the other points, you will plug in the x values into the equation again. And the vertex is at x equals -4, so we can plug in x equals -3 to find a point that is close by on the parabola. So once you plug -3 into the equation, you find that another point is -3, -2. And we can use the axis of symmetry again and reflect the point -3, -2 across, and you get another point which is -5, -2, which also is a part of the parabola. So now you plot the points, and when you plot the points, this is the graph you get. And then you look at the graph to find the solutions, and the solutions of this graph would be -4.5 and -3.5, since that is where the parabola crosses the x-axis. Thanks for watching.